Imagine a world where the sick are shunned, cast out from society like lepers in medieval times. Their mere presence bore the weight of condemnation, derision, and fear. But deep within this sorrow, an extraordinary tale emerges. A tale of resilience, unity, and undeniable spirit. What if I told you that those labeled as the cursed built a community so incredible it became a beacon of hope and order, far surpassing the very places that shunned them? Welcome to the story of the Outcasts who turned their exile into an extraordinary legacy. In the Middle Ages, leprosy was not merely a medical diagnosis. It was the ultimate social death. The disease, known for its disfiguring symptoms, caused horror and confusion among the general populace. Men, women, and even children were driven from their homes, pushed into the shadows, forever branded as pariahs. "Your skin is the mark of God's anger," they were told, as they were shuttled away from places they once loved. Yet, amid this darkness lies a gripping tale of transformation. Picture it. A meeting in a rustic hall, dimly lit, filled with whispers of dread as the village elders convene. The headman, face grave with the burden of leadership, stands to address the villagers. The air is thick with tension, and this gathering is pulsing with the heart of a community on the brink. "These people are cursed," he declares, his words echoing in the quaint yet fearful hearts of townsfolk. Fear grips the villagers, and soon compassion is silenced by the desire for self-preservation. Shouts of agreement arise, and the proclamation resonates. The lepers must leave. They are forced into the wilderness, with barely more than the tattered clothes on their backs. But what if I told you that this very moment wasn't an ending but a rebirth? Cast out from their homes, the exiled began an arduous journey in search of solace. Like driftwood carried by a stream, they found each other amid the desolation of their new reality. Soon, instead of despair, a sense of purpose ignited in their hearts. Through the ashes of indignity, they birthed a village and oasis built by those abandoned. Imagine a community where compassion reigns over fear, a place where what was once deemed unworthy transformed into resilience and innovation. The outcasts cultivated their lands together, sharing knowledge long considered lost to those who had left them behind. The sickly, the weak, and the resilient worked shoulder to shoulder to create something extraordinary. With their backs bent to the soil, laughter filled the air as plants began to sprout, vibrant greens stretching toward the sun, promising sustenance and hope. As days turned into weeks, these outcasts devoted their lives to establishing order. They drafted rules, not just for survival, but to nurture a way of life that emphasized dignity and mutual respect. By setting up communal responsibilities, they transformed what could have been chaos into harmony. Each person contributed not just labor, but also artistry and culture, weaving together music and storytelling that echoed through their humble yet fervent community. Imagine a lively square where children laughed and played, musicians strummed improvised instruments, and artisans crafted beautiful objects from scavenged materials. The village pulsed with life, far exceeding the somber existence they had known before. In many ways, they fostered a society more just and orderly than the one they had been expelled from. As their village flourished, it became a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity itself. But the most unexpected twist lay just beyond the horizon. Rumors of their prosperity reached the neighboring towns, carrying a subtle invitation to those who once shunned them. irony unfurled its wings like a raven in the sky, as the outcasts, once seen as cursed beings, now boasted a reputation of strength and communal resilience. The townspeople who had turned their backs faced adversity, famine, or a disease that swept through their streets, igniting feelings of despair akin to those once experienced by the lepers. When desperation knocked on their door, it was to this village of the damned that they turned. Driven by survival, they crossed the boundaries that once defined them, beseeching those they had banished. At first, the lepers hesitated, facing a choice between past grievances and communal compassion. The stories of their suffering pulled from deep wells of empathy. As the outcasts extended the olive branch, the townsfolk witnessed a lesson far greater than any they had anticipated: the transformative power of unity. Sharing food, skills, and knowledge, they created a bridge of understanding where fear once thrived. It was through their shared struggles that barriers melted away, prejudices were questioned, and humanity was reclaimed. The village thrived, the once shunned esteemed as neighbors and confidants, their very existence now a beacon of hope. As the historian recounts these events, a realization dawns: the resilience of the human spirit often flourishes in adversity. The stigma surrounding leprosy began to lift, and the villagers returned to their roots, inspired not only by survival, but also by the bonds of shared humanity. In reflection, what if every outcast had their story, and what could we learn from them? The past is a lesser known that speaks volumes about the fragile nature of community and acceptance. Once labeled lepers, rich in experience and empathy, built a village that radiated vibrancy and hope, a legacy that even today calls to us. As I tell you this tale, I am not merely recounting history, but inviting you to envision a world where acceptance triumphs over fear. The story of the lepers isn't just one of overcoming a tale steeped in bravery. It reminds us all of our shared humanity. If you found this journey as captivating as I did and wish to explore more incredible stories from our past, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Medieval Stories channel. Together, let's unveil history's many hidden gems and rewrite the narrative of what it truly means to be human. The transformation of the outcasts into a thriving community is not just a historical anecdote. It is a profound narrative about human resilience and the ability to find strength in adversity. It serves as a reminder that even in the darkest times, when society seeks to exile and marginalize, there exists an inherent power within individuals to forge bonds and build something remarkable from nothing. The lepers, who were once viewed as burdens, emerged as the architects of their own destiny. Their rejection ignited a fire that fueled collective action rather than desolation. As they cultivated their lands, cultivated relationships blossomed too. The village became a sanctuary not only of survival, but of creativity and culture. Music became a way to express shared sorrow and joy. Stories told around fires under starlit skies transformed into legends that instilled hope and pride. The annual harvest festival celebrated their resilience, and people danced to the rhythms of their newfound identities. They became artists, builders, and healers who poured their essence into every corner of their settlement. Moreover, the lepers who once suffered isolation learned the incredible strength of empathy. Instead of succumbing to bitterness, they found solace in understanding each other's pain and joy. They forged friendships that transcended the scars of their afflictions. Together, they instilled values that spoke of dignity, respect, and solidarity. Their resilience resulted in a community unlike any ordinary village. It showcased how adversity has the potential to cultivate greater humanity within us. Yet, this extraordinary narrative is often lost in the annals of history, buried beneath layers of stigma and misunderstanding. As the Doctor reflects on this experience, he acknowledges the turning point it had on his own perception of leprosy and the people who bear its scars. Once defined by fear and the external labels placed upon them, the so-called cursed challenged the very notions that had exiled them. They created a village that mirrored their resilience and ultimately transformed societal views about those labeled as outsiders. As the Doctor delved further into this story, he began to share the remarkable findings with his colleagues at the medical community. Their testimonies painted a picture of a society that destroyed the myths around leprosy, where humans embraced those afflicted by disease instead of banishing them. Evidence suggested that the health and hygiene in the leper colony exceeded that of many towns, challenging preconceived notions and stirring conversations about compassion, economics, and ethics in medicine. In fact, studies revealed that communities focused on inclusion and care were better equipped to handle health crises, while those rooted in fear and exclusion struggled. The Outcasts story became not just a tale of survival, but a case study showcasing that humanity flourishes when people come together. Their village highlighted the significance of nurturing bonds and understanding that ostracizing those deemed other only exacerbates issues rather than resolving them. As this realization spread, it fostered discourse among historians and medical practitioners alike, encouraging a reevaluation of social policies involving those marginalized by society. The narrative of the Outcasts served as a blueprint for empathy over exclusion, reshaping the understanding of leprosy and other stigmatized conditions. It urged a reconsideration of how communities approach health, compassion, and social justice. But their legacy does not stop at reputation alone. As skilled as they were at cultivating the earth, they cultivated relationships within themselves as well. The Outcasts elevated each other, becoming mentors, emissaries of hope and understanding, teaching subsequent generations the significance of compassion. As the community expanded, laughter bounced through the air, echoing the joy of camaraderie among those once envisioned as forsaken. Even in the face of adversity, the lepers of this fictional yet profoundly relevant village carved out a narrative that inspires. They turned disease and isolation into a testament of community pride and personal dignity. The lessons learned in their struggle transcend time and space, reaching out to us even today. In watching this story unfold, we uncover more than just a historical account. We reveal a stark reminder of our shared humanity. It beckons us to rethink how we perceive those who differ from us and challenges us to extend compassion to those on the fringes of society. As we confront our own biases, may we find the strength to break down walls and build bridges. As the medieval doctor concludes his tale, there's a spark in his eye and appreciation for the great human story that has unraveled before him. It's not merely about leprosy, it's about understanding the value of human connection, empathy, and the relentless will to rise above stigmas. If you find resonance in this timeless narrative and wish to explore more captivating tales from our past, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Medieval Stories channel. Let us continue to unveil the stories that shape who we are and inspire the future. The story of the lepers and their remarkable village serves as a profound metaphor for the struggle against societal stigma. Their journey highlights the unyielding spirit of those who are seen as outsiders, reminding us that everyone carries a tale worth telling, regardless of the circumstances that surround them. The exile's choice to build, rather than destroy, demonstrates a powerful repudiation of hatred and despair, showcasing that acceptance and understanding can emerge in the unlikeliest of places. As the Doctor continued to explore the remnants of this extraordinary community, he discovered remnants of their craftsmanship, intricate pottery, woven textiles, and beautiful wooden artifacts that told a story of skill and creativity. Each item crafted within their village held a narrative of collective effort and pride. The lepers' artistry flourished not from mere necessity, but blossomed from a desire to express their newfound identity, transcending the labels bound to them. The art they created became something more than mere objects. They served as symbols of hope and resilience for the villagers. Every piece was a reminder of the strength they had summoned to forge a life together. Indeed, their creativity was a form of rebellion against the stigma they had faced, a refusal to be defined solely by their afflictions. It was a celebration of life, and the beauty they found in their community, a marked contrast from the darkness that had initially threatened to engulf them. Through exhibitions and trade, the village began to attract attention from passers-by, curious to see the artistry produced by the Outcasts. Their vibrant market blossomed with colors and sounds that caught the eyes of those who had once ignored them. Visitors marveled at their creativity, stirring an unexpected sense of admiration. Curiosity turned into respect, breaking down old barriers with each transaction. The villagers found themselves in positions of honor, valued for their craftsmanship and communal spirit. As the Doctor interviewed many who visited the village, stories emerged of changed hearts and minds. Former townsfolk who had once viewed lepers with disdain now spoke of the incredible transformation they witnessed. They regarded the village not merely as a haven for the afflicted, but as a testament to humanity's capacity for renewal and awakening that reshaped their perceptions forever. This newfound acceptance extended beyond commerce. Many villagers, once frightened of the disease itself, became advocates for the lepers. They spoke out against the injustices faced by the outcast community, evolving local laws to ensure that lepers were no longer criminalized for their affliction. The village's example sparked a movement, catalyzing changes in surrounding territories and encouraging others to reevaluate their relationships with those deemed unclean. The story spread far beyond their immediate region, carried by travelers and traders who shared the tales of the extraordinary village built by those once thought to be cursed. The lepers had inadvertently become ambassadors for empathy and acceptance, their experience illuminating the path for others to follow. With every retelling, more hearts opened to understanding, and unjust labels began to fade away into whispers of the past. This gradual shift in society's perspective not only benefited the lepers, but created ripple effects throughout the entire region. More inclusive policies took root, promoting health education, awareness, and support for marginalized communities. As responses to afflictions like leprosy improved, health outcomes for infected individuals began to reflect that change, demonstrating that compassion leads to better societal health. The story has not only survived, but thrived through generations, morphing into parables told around hearths, a treasure trove of lessons embedded within the fabric of folklore. As the Doctor shared his story in lectures and discussions, he inspired countless students and audiences, igniting the flames of curiosity critical thought, and compassion in his listeners. The narrative of the Outcasts reminds us that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, the human spirit possesses the profound capability to unite, create, and uplift. Just as the lepers crafted a communal life filled with vibrancy and warmth, we too can reimagine our own societies, creating spaces that embrace instead of reject. This lesson, stitched into the tapestry of their lives, is one that resonates across time. It urges us to confront our biases, to reach out to those who bear the weight of isolation and pain. In seeking to understand rather than cast aside, we can cultivate a world enriched by the intricacies of human experience. In conclusion, the tale of the lepers who built a thriving community from exile embodies the resilience of the human spirit. Their legacy, once hidden in the shadows, now shines brightly as a testament to transformation and unity. As we reflect on their journey, let us not forget that every story harbors the potential to inspire change and foster understanding. If this story moved you, and you wish to uncover more powerful narratives from history that illuminate the potential for growth and compassion, remember to like and subscribe to the Medieval Stories channel. Together, let's continue to seek out and share the stories that redefine our understanding of humanity. Through the ages, the tale of the lepers who built their own thriving community has not merely persisted, it has evolved into a vivid illustration of the indomitable human spirit. In classrooms, around dining tables, and at cultural festivals, their story serves as a beacon of hope, a reminder that unity and compassion can triumph over adversity and stigma. Each retelling imbues the narrative with fresh energy, inspiring countless individuals to confront their biases and redefine their understanding of acceptance. As the doctor shared his findings and insights, a movement took shape. Inspired by the story of the Outcasts, a new generation emerged, eager to champion compassion and understanding in a world that often resists it. Activists, educators, and healthcare professionals rallied around the principles exemplified by the village's extraordinary transformation. Campaigns sprang up, advocating for inclusivity and dismantling the long-standing societal prejudices against those struggling with various afflictions, not just leprosy. Communities began to establish alliances and support networks that promoted health, wellness, and inclusion. Healthcare reform, inspired by the lessons learned from the leprechaun village, began to take root in towns, ensuring that the marginalized received the attention and treatment they so desperately required. The emphasis shifted from exclusion to integration. People began to champion holistic wellness, emphasizing not just the physical health of individuals, but also their emotional and social well-being. As healthcare improved and social stigmas lifted, those once burdened by diseases were encouraged to share their stories. Their voices, once somber and quiet, rose in harmony with others, creating a chorus of human experience that demanded recognition. Similar to the lepers' decision to build a community, countless individuals began to forge connections that transcended the superficialities of societal judgment. The fabric of these stories wove together, forming a collective tapestry rich in diversity, resilience, and a determination to rise above adversity. Colleges and universities began hosting symposiums inspired by the leper's tale, where scholars, health professionals, and advocates would gather to discuss the lessons learned and the ongoing journey towards societal acceptance and integration. Research papers emerged, delving into the psychological and communal benefits of inclusive practices, gathering data and evidence that supported the voices of those who dared to speak out. This research illuminated the power of empathy and connection in fostering healthier communities. One vital outcome of this increased awareness and openness around historical afflictions was a change in educational curriculums. Schools began to integrate more discussions on social justice, health disparities, and the significance of understanding marginalized communities into their programs. Young people became champions of change, equipped with knowledge and compassion, ready to challenge outdated beliefs and advocate for those who have been silenced or ignored. Perhaps the most poignant chapter of this unfolding story lies in the integration of the lepers' legacy into contemporary discussions. The symbolism rooted in their struggle encouraged local governments to prioritize community health initiatives and promote dialogue around mental health, disability rights, and social equity. Awareness campaigns grounded in local storytelling began to emerge, often featuring first-hand accounts from those who had lived through the stigma of diseases like leprosy. As these initiatives continued to thrive, a documentary was produced that chronicled not just the historical journey of the lepers, but also the present-day implications of their story. Filmmakers interviewed descendants of both the lepers and the townspeople, weaving together a rich narrative of apology, understanding, and connection that emerged from their shared history. The documentary premiered to resounding acclaim and served as a reminder that true healing occurs only when we dare to face our past, learn from it, and seek collective forgiveness. Engagement in the arts flourished as well, with playwrights and authors drawing inspiration from the lepers' legacy. The production of theater performances that focused on themes of identity, community, and acceptance began to captivate audiences, sparking discussions and reflections that transcended generations. These creative endeavors reignited interest in the leper's story, creating powerful spaces for audiences to engage with the nuanced issues of health, stigma, and compassion. In the modern world, the leper community that evolved from despair emerged as a rallying point for activism. From grassroots organizations to international campaigns, advocates drew on the lessons learned from this medieval community, asserting that the plight of the marginalized, whether due to health issues or other societal factors, required urgent attention and action. The echoes of the past resonated deeply in the values of today, embedding the understanding that, as a society, we must never overlook the vulnerable and those held captive by stigma. The legacy of those lepers, those cast aside, but who redefined their existence through unity, reminds us that the power of compassion can shape communities and transform lives. It is a call to action to reverse the cycles of discrimination and forge connections based on empathy, understanding, and respect. If this exploration of resilience, strength, and the capacity for transformation touched your heart, and if you wish to delve deeper into similar compelling tales from our history, please be sure to like and subscribe to the Medieval Stories channel. Together, we can continue uncovering the profound lessons of our shared past and use them to empower our journey into the future.